What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Sister Girl on Films. And before we get started with the video, I just want to point out the fact that y'all, I got a new camera, whoop whoop, but also not whoop whoop, because I'm still trying to figure out the settings and stuff. So if it looks a little crazy, not quite the quality that my other videos were, no fret, no worries. I'm just going to keep working on those settings until I get it how I like it. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there. So let's go ahead and move along with the video. So as y'all can tell by the title, I am finishing up my review and recap of parts 2 and 3 of Fear Street. So I already did my review of Fear Street 1994. I'll put the link in the description and a little info card up top somewhere. And so I finally finished part 2, which was Fear Street 1974, and then part 3, which was Fear Street 1666. So if you're interested in my thoughts on this Netflix original series, then stay right there. We're gonna get right into this review.
Hey, Sister Girl on Films, you don't want to miss a thing, better stay tuned in. So lay back, get into the vibe, in the mood. Real reviews from a sister's point of view. Trailer reactions, movies and TV. So entertaining and authentic, believe me. So roll that footage, I'm ready to chill. Time to hang out with my sister girl. Hey, Sister Girl on Films. Hey, Sister Girl on Films. Hey.
Street 1978, I really like. I would say I like that one the most out of the 3 parts, because that one really gave me my slasher feels. And y'all, I love slasher movies. Like, I feel like I've seen all of the Friday the 13th movies except for some of the later ones. I wasn't a fan, but like those original ones, not so much part 1, because we know Jason was not the killer. But for the rest of them, we know Jason Voorhees was our killer. The whole aesthetic of them like running through campgrounds and in the houses and the cabins and all of that stuff, and tripping over shit that ain't really there in the woods. Y'all, that's my jam. Like, I love it. It's always a mess. And that is what part 2 essentially was. We go back in time to figure out, number 1, what happened at the night wing campsite. I think it's called Nightwing, y'all. And how did the serial killer Tommy come to be? And so we get that backstory. We get the story of Ziggy and her sister and kind of how they're at odds, but also trying to figure out why all of a sudden like random weird shit is happening during their camp experience. And I really enjoyed that one. Like I said, it gave us those old school slasher vibes. They did have like the corny, you know, teens having sex, teens doing drugs, so they have to die type trope. But, you know, I feel like it was okay because it went with that time period of the genre. So I was like, okay, I'm here for it. That's what y'all gonna do? I support it. I really liked Tommy. I forget his last name, but Tommy, who ended up being one of our serial killers. I liked the villain that he became, and let me explain what I mean by that. So a lot of times with slasher films, especially with Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees, like, they move really slow. They always tend to pop up at random places. You're like, how the heck did they get here? How are you not outrunning them? Like, what is happening? Nightwing, on the other hand, y'all, he was running full speed with an axe in his hand. And just like in part 1, part 2 did not hold back on the gore. He was messing them kids up. And because it was like a camp, I was like, okay, I know it's gonna be a massacre, but maybe it's gonna be like all of the camp counselors and not necessarily the kids that are actually attending the camp. Yeah, no. Anybody and everybody could get it. I'm gonna try to avoid spoilers, but if you watched part 1, then you already know, like, these massacres happen. And so really, aside from the slasher part of it, I did like the story between the 2 sisters, Ziggy and Cindy. Cindy is the older sister. And just seeing that dynamic, I really enjoyed. Especially near the end when Cindy kind of goes through this transformation, and sis is not to be played with. Okay? Look, The character development they had for Cindy was probably my favorite of the entire 3-part series, because sis went from prim and proper to, I don't know what you thought, but I'm about to F everybody up, and I loved it. Overall, I really loved part 2. There were some parts where it got a little exposition heavy, and it got a little sappy with the storyline with some of the characters, and that kind of took me out of it just a little bit, but not enough for part 2 to not be my ultimate fave. So definitely, if you saw part 1, I would definitely say check out part 2. Now, as for part 3 was probably my least favorite. It was still pretty good, but the reason why I wasn't a huge fan of Fear Street 1666, it was just because of that time period. Even any movies that come out in that time period, I don't necessarily watch because they're just boring to me. Like, I had to keep rewinding parts of this one because I was missing stuff, just because it didn't hold my attention. And again, it doesn't speak to the writing, it's just that time period. Anything like the 17th century pioneers and pilgrims and all that shit is so boring to me, y'all. I'm sorry. It just does not hold my attention. It's a period piece, so I don't give a damn. There's other periods, and I'm gonna watch those. But once the story picked up near like the halfway mark of the 3rd part, I started to get into it way more. And I really enjoyed the story. It was a little confusing at parts because when we go back in time, we're seeing everything through the lens of Sarah Fear, who is our proclaimed witch in the series. But it's the young girl that plays Dina that we actually see. And so sometimes it was a little confusing because all the characters were all the characters we saw in the past episodes. And so at first I was thinking too much about it. And I was like, okay, so this is Dina. So does everybody look like this from the olden times? And now we're just saying that they're reincarnated to the people we see today. But then I just kind of put it to rest and was like, no, Dina's just seeing these people as who she knows because of familiar faces. I guess because then there's a twist that happens, and then it kind of connects to modern present day. I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but then that kind of confused me more. But anyway, sorry for the audio in this video. My microphone was not where I thought it was. It wasn't really picking up my voice too well. And in the next scene, I do start rubbing my hands over my pants, so that is that kind of staticky noise you hear. My bad, y'all. Part 3 was cool. It was a little slow. It picked up near the end. I love the way they wrapped up everything in the series. It did kind of end with a little bit of a cliffhanger, so maybe they're going to do a few more parts, which I wouldn't be mad at because I enjoyed the entire series. Yeah, so I'm trying to do this review without giving y'all any spoilers, y'all, which is kind of hard, but I'm just going to leave it to say I really enjoyed Fear Street, all 3 parts. Part 2 the most. Part 1 second, and then part 3 the least. But I really thought it was really fun. I love the gore in each episode. I think the storyline was pretty good. Like I said, the 3rd one, it got a little iffy for me. There were a couple of parts where I was like, that don't make no sense. But overall, it was a great time. I enjoyed watching it. If you have not watched it, all 3 parts are officially on Netflix now, so some of y'all are binge watchers, and that might be why you weren't watching it, but go ahead and check it out. If you have checked it out, let me know in the comments below which part was your favorite part, which part was your least favorite. If you're looking forward to a possible part 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Fear Street had a lot of books, y'all. They could go a lot of places with this, and so I'll be interested to see how they bring more of the books and some of the characters to life on Netflix. So as always, y'all, like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel. Again, I'm sorry if this review was kind of all over the place, but I was trying to figure out like how to explain what I liked about the show without giving away anything, and that was kind of difficult for me, y'all, because y'all know I like to give a spoiler. So yeah, so like I said, y'all, let me know in the comments how you felt about this series. If you saw it, if you didn't watch it, why are you not watching it? You need a Netflix login? I ain't gonna give you mine. So as always, y'all, like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'm gonna see y'all next time for something else. Holla.